Best.Podcast.Ever is sponsored by the Gertzberg Law Firm, a full-service business law firm in Cleveland and Chagrin Falls that's changing the way businesses retain their attorneys. Go to gertzberglaw.com to learn more. While you're there, check out Cover My Six, a complete legal audit of the 6 areas that most often create or prevent business lawsuits and government investigations. Go to covermysix.com to learn how we keep you safe. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to listen to the best podcast ever recorded.
What are you trying to do when you're trying to create health? Are you trying to numb out the things you don't like? Or are you trying to leverage what you're experiencing in life to create new levels of health?
Hi, Molly Gebler.
Hello, Alex Gertzberg. How's it going?
Fantastic.
That's so good.
How are you doing?
You know what? I need some Zen. I'm just all...
I'll give you some Zen right now. Molly Gebler, you and I had a little spat last week.
We did.
On 2 different days.
Yes.
And
yes.
I would like to formally, in front of hundreds and thousands of our guests, say to you, I'm sorry for my role in it. I apologize and I love you.
I love you and I apologize for my role in it. And I love you.
Okay.
I think I already said it, but...
You did.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Without going into details.
Right, because it's no one's business.
It's not. It's not. It was a professional dispute.
Yes.
Over like
that's the hard part about my job.
Being friends with
yeah.
It was a sponsorship issue.
And I'm glad you said that because there are some times where I get into situations and I learn that the people that I'm having this spat with, that sometimes I think there's a friendship there.
Yeah.
And there's not. And if there's a professional spat, it ends everything totally. And then I have to take that's hurtful for me because then I realize, oh my gosh, all that time I thought we truly were friends. We weren't. I was just maybe being used for my position, or it was just strictly business, but they maybe played that it was friendship, so. Wow.
See, that's interesting because so I have the reverse happen to me sometimes where, because I represent a lot of my friends, and I often will go off on them, because they're my friends, and I forget that they're a client paying for my time, paying for our services. And I've gotten in shouting matches with old friends of mine going back 20 plus years. And I got to step back and be like, whoa, I in addition to being their friend, I'm also a lawyer. And so I've forgotten that.
Right.
So, which is kind of like the reverse of what you just described.
So it's probably a little bit. I would assume any of these situations can be either or both. It can be both.
It's definitely.
But it's hurtful when you learn that there truly wasn't a friendship, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's never.
That kind of sucks.
That would be the worst of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to know that yours is not what it is with you.
Yeah.
You're my bro.
Right.
So do you want to talk about what I'm drinking?
Yeah, let's. Let's describe it. It looks like blood.
Yeah.
It looks like
it looks like Kool-Aid.
Oh, okay. Kool-Aid also is a good description. It's blood red, however.
Here's the thing.
Talk to me.
I think it's something that needs to get out there because I think it's a problem. Everyone is so happy to say how horrible Diet Coke is, but nobody can share with you how to stop drinking it. And don't tell me water. Because
you're saying because why? Because it's addictive? Stop.
You know what?
What do you mean no one can tell you how to stop drinking?
I know it is addictive. I know that they say there's things in it that make it addicting. I don't think I'm addicted to it. What I am is in need of something that quenches my thirst.
I see what you're saying.
And I don't, I have bought, and Drug Mart is totally made out with my attempt to get off of Diet Coke because, and it's not that I'm shaking and I need Diet Coke. It's that I need something to drink in replace of it. And I have been to Drug Mart. I have bought all the seltzer or because I'm assuming it's the aspartame that causes that everyone's warning me to get off of Diet Coke.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to avoid. But then when I go get all these flavoring things, because I need to have flavor because I hate water, all those flavoring things have aspartame. So it's no good going from Diet Coke to those little flavor packets because they have aspartame.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally found a flavor packet that doesn't have aspartame.
But it's got something else.
It's got to have something else,
Yeah.
right? Unless is stevia the good thing?
I drink so much coffee throughout the day that I
drink
carry packets of organic stevia with
See,
me.
I don't put sugar in my coffee.
Right here. I'm
So
going to give you one of these. This is organic stevia. It has nothing in it but stevia. Next time, put one of those in your water and see if and mix it up. Okay. But wait, there's an underlying premise here that I don't understand. You're saying that regular water will not quench your thirst.
No.
That you need something with flavor.
Yes.
Water is like...
And it's not even sugary. Like and maybe it is. Maybe there's something about Diet Coke that I have read that it makes you have a sweet tooth or it makes you want something sweet. I don't know. I can drink water. It's not like I throw up.
But you don't want to.
It doesn't
You don't... Yeah.
Listen, I don't do drugs. I barely drink alcohol. And I was at Kane Park over the weekend and I was buying a Diet Coke and there was the person there and she says, "Oh, you're not getting that Diet Coke, are you?" And I turned her, I said, "Listen, I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. This is my vice."
Is this somebody you know?
Actually, it ended up being somebody I knew, which I thought like I already bought it. Like what? Why would you say?
Yeah.
So she says, "I'd rather see you smoke."
Well,
So
that's
you'd
just
rather see
judgy
me
as
smoke. I mean,
hell.
so then I'm like, shit, is Diet Coke really that horrible? Like I don't see researchers of obituaries saying they died from Diet Coke.
Well, so here, let me comment.
Okay.
And by the way, this is a
Maybe
great...
Tiffany should come
I was
in.
just going to say, this is a
Yeah.
great conversation for you to have with my girl T. So if you set aside all the studies that supposedly have occurred on whether aspartame or any of that other stuff causes cancer, set all that aside for a second. It does seem to me that there are a lot of studies that say that sugar is as addictive as a lot of other stuff.
Just plain old
Just
sugar.
sugar in your drinks and in your food, and how that has a completely different set of health consequences to, like the aspartame, the sweeteners, the, nicotine, anything, right?
Should you drink Coke over Diet Coke?
Here's what I would wonder. And by the way, I'm speaking to you as a complete hypocrite right now because there's things...
Everybody is.
There's things that, I would love to just go a month without, but I have
done without Diet Coke because remember I gave it up for Lent.
Well, here's what I would be really interested to see. And if you did this, I will go a month without any alcohol whatsoever. And
Wait, what do I have to go without?
Sugar. Yeah, what would happen if you just... and I know you just said water just doesn't quench my thirst.
It doesn't.
Right? But no sweeteners at all. Would you... I think for the first 3 or 4 days, you'd be just surly at everybody.
There is something called real lemon. Have you looked at that? They say that it's just crystallized lemons.
But what I'm saying is that's... Well, okay, if there's no sugar there, that's one thing. But
I could get lemons, and I could cut them every time I drink a glass of water. But dear Lord Jesus, I mean...
That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to need a staff member just to cut lemons for me.
The real question is... Do you and I have the willpower? I love coming home and having a glass of wine every single day. I love it. I love the different kinds of wine.
But wine is not killing you.
Well, one could argue that...
Actually, I think one would tell you that wine a night is good for you.
No, one could argue that Alex Gertzberg doesn't often stop at one glass of wine. That quite often...
Like
Yeah.
I would like to speak to Representative Diet Coke. I just think if it is as bad as people say, then I should be seeing research all over the place saying Diet Coke's bad for you, and I don't see that.
It's there.
So who's saying it's bad for you?
It's there.
And give me the deaths and the cancer. I want to see a doctor say cancer is caused by Diet Coke.
You know what, Molly?
Can you do that?
Our
for me?
guest is a medical professional who will be in this seat in just a few minutes, and we should totally ask him that.
I'm totally going to ask him because I just, again, it's not about the Diet Coke per se, and I don't like regular Coke. Yeah. And I'm even so picky that I don't like Diet Pepsi.
I will say this.
It's a flavor thing for me.
If you were to go a month without any sweeteners or sugars whatsoever, you'd be angry for the first week. But I bet you anything that after a month, and I'll say the same thing for me.
But you got to give me you also have to give, I don't know what, like, I'm picking up my phone like this is food. No, like, I need somebody to just give me a month worth of what I can eat because I can't research everything I grab to find out if there's sugar in it. That's another problem. I see what you're saying.
Me. You know what I mean? Because there's sugars in dressing
because like oil is another thing. Like there's good oil and there's bad oil and there's good cholesterol and there's bad. Like
that's true.
Right?
Yes.
So like I'm not intelligent enough in that. I'm very intelligent. I'm just not intelligent enough in that department on knowing goods and bads or what's in it. So I would need help with that as well. Because I've considered doing the no carb, no sugar, the no white.
Yeah.
You know, I've considered doing that, but I'm not like, I don't know. I'm not a cook.
Yeah.
So I don't know in a recipe, does this gravy do you think it has butter and flour in it? I don't know. Like,
it definitely takes a discipline and scrutinizing labels and stuff that I generally
go on and just get like a month worth of recipes of a no carb, no sugar diet.
I'm sure you could. It's all out there, Molly. The hard part isn't finding the information; it's being disciplined enough with it. That's where I've got
finding
the
time to cook. That's a definite huge issue
and what
for me.
what always kills you too is going out, which you and I both do all the time.
Absolutely,
you know, like sometimes twice a day.
I'll tell you what, I had a Firebird Delmonico steak last night, but that would have been all right. Although it would have to depend on what it was a chili rub Delmonico. Obviously,
dude, I had that a few weeks ago. It was fantastic.
It's right?
They put crack in that.
And I am not a steak person. Like, I can't stand steak because I just think it tastes like meat to me. But I dream of that Delmonico.
Yeah,
dream of it.
That dry rub stuff was
now,
really good.
Now, the mashed potatoes might have had a little white in it.
We're mere mortals, Molly.
But in that diet, or I don't want to call it diet, but in that choice of eating habits, that steak would be okay. Meats are okay.
I think so. Here's all I know is when I stopped drinking soda ages ago, I dropped like instantly like 15 pounds and I stopped having cravings for it. And then people that I know who have taken sugar out. Now these guys have more discipline than me. They're like Navy SEALs, right? And I aspire to have that much discipline. But people like Joe Rogan, if you listen to that podcast, or you only listen just to our podcast, I know.
True.
But like there are people like him who, when they cut out sugar, they claim to have way more energy and to sleep better and to have all these other.
They say the bloating goes. Right now, I'm having serious issues with my feet.
I wonder if that's summertime.
Swelling and horrible. Like, I can't even. They hurt so much. Like, do you know your feet? This is gonna sound crazy.
I think I know my feet.
I at all times feel my feet. Like, they're there. They hurt. But see, my mom also suffered from. She had the veins
varicose veins.
No, like she had them They would stop. They would, and it's called something. Her circulation to her feet was ending, so they had to take veins from other areas and I've
heard of that.
Attach them. And I'm getting fearful about that. So, obviously I'm overweight. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I get that.
Although I think you look a little thinner.
Oh,
no, I mean it. I'm saying. No, I was going to say something earlier. Is that not true?
Well, no. It's
Okay.
probably the steak I ate
I
last
don't know.
night.
Maybe it's the shirt.
But maybe I should just stop whining and drink water.
I don't know.
I mean, we all do things we don't want to do. Maybe I should just stop complaining about it and drink it and be done with myself. The problem also, and I know this is only an excuse, is that I only have one working kidney that works 100%.
Is that true? Did we talk about this
Absolutely
before?
true. I don't
That sounds
know.
kind of familiar.
Yeah. So if I drink a lot of water, obviously you're peeing a lot and you're pumping. Well, any liquids of me goes in both your kidneys.
Right.
But my one says, oh, no. So it goes back and reflux back up. So it's painful.
Dude,
if I
I'll
drink
tell
a
you-
lot of water, it's painful.
I'm no doctor, but I bet you anything, if your doctor were sitting right here, he or she would probably say the fact that you've got only one kidney is more reason to stop drinking sugar and Diet Coke.
Why does sugar ruin your kidney?
I think sugar is just all around bad for you. Sugar.
And since when?
No, listen. Here's why. I'll tell you why.
Tell me.
I read this in some. I did read this.
Why is this better for you? And for the folks at home, I'm holding up the organic
stevia.
Stevia. Why is this better? What is this?
So here, from
God made
one thing,
sugar.
and by the way, I'm not sure that
Right.
stevia is better than sugar.
It's not a paid
I think
promotion,
that
everybody.
I think that it requires less of itself than sugar does for the same sweetness. But I do recall reading that one reason why sugar is not good for you is because for most of human existence, we did not have any sugar. Sugar is a relatively recent invention.
Really?
So for like 70, Homo sapiens are 70,000 years old, but sugar is only within the last 1,000 years. You
Really?
know? So our bodies, maybe even less than that, maybe even within the last 500
years. Old
years.
pictures in National Geographic, their bellies are super big. The naked people.
I think it's apples and oranges. I think we were talking about two different things. Hey, let's do this, Molly, because you and I can talk forever.
I know. Well, for anybody that's listening, if you have been able to nix the Diet Coke, please call in and let us know how you did it. That's all I need to know.
You want to call 1-800-JACKASS because, or just email us at, I think, what is it, Best.Podcast.Ever at Gmail? Just go to the website.
440-342-3922. I'm that desperate. I'm giving out my cell phone number. And let's be honest. It's 2019. Everybody can get my. I mean,
I know.
come on.
And if you don't recognize it,
back in the day, like, oh my gosh, please don't give my cell phone to anybody. Now it's like I put it up on Facebook. I don't care.
I mean, do you ever even pick up if you don't recognize the?
Hell no.
Me neither.
No.
Just go to voicemail.
So better leave a message.
Yeah.
If you,
Molly, do you know Dr. Dan?
I do know Dr. Dan.
I know you do.
I will tell you, Dr. Dan came into the Chagrin Valley very short time ago, but he has definitely done what I have told, and I didn't tell him, but he has done what I tell other businesses to do, and that is get embedded in your community. I turn around and Dr. Dan is working the booth at the JCs. Dr. Dan is at the chamber meetings. Dr. Dan gets that you need to be out there and seen and be telling people about your new practice. Because he just had a new practice. We just did the ribbon cutting I don't know, a month ago maybe.
And here he is on the single most important podcast of all time.
He heard us talk at the annual awards when I mentioned the podcast. He came up to me after the annual awards and said I want to be on the podcast.
So Dr. Dan is the doctor of chiropractic at his and his wife's business, The Tone of Life.
Yes.
A center for healing and optimal living. Tone of Life is a unique, natural, hands-on approach, or offers a unique, natural, hands-on approach to healthcare designed to teach your body sustainable means for self-healing, adapting to stress, and functioning at your best. And there's so much that they offer. We're not going to go through all of it, but it's chronic pain management, it's psychological and emotional stress management through chiropractic care, this Cranial Sacral Therapy that I have so many questions about, body awareness classes and workshops. But to me, Molly, the most interesting thing about Dr. Dan...
I just circled something. I'd be dying to know if that's what you're going to bring up.
No, it's not.
Oh.
You circled that he plays the ukulele. No, I would like to read in its entirety, which I'll read quickly, but it's so interesting, the story of how he met his wife. Have you seen this?
No.
Our crack research department uncovered this story on the interweb. One fine weekend in August of 2015, Christian, that's Dan's wife, was visiting Atlanta, Georgia with her friends in order to attend a music festival. After a day and a half of busting a move to awesome electronic bass music, Christian was sitting in the grass when the crowd parted, just enough for her to see Dan in the distance, cutting a rug like tomorrow wasn't gonna come. Immediately,
and who wrote this?
The gods, I think. Immediately, she knew she must test his skills against her own footloose prowess.
Stop it. A dance-off?
She approached him, and after a brief exchange of kindly words, the two engaged in an epic dance-off. The rhythm and flow of the two reached such an astounding level of unison that they danced together until sunrise. Sure that this was no mistake, they agreed to see each other again in a few weeks and said a temporary goodbye over a cup of coffee. After a year of long-distance dating between Oxford, Mississippi and Atlanta, Georgia, Dan proposed to Christian in the beautiful mountains of North Georgia. Christian and Dan lived together in Georgia during their engagement and moved to Athens, Ohio in April of 2017 in order to open their healing arts practice and live happily ever after.
Awesome.
Right?
That is,
I mean,
so well, because up above he says that when he's not loving on people through chiropractic, he is living it up on the dance floor.
Let's get this dude in
my
here
gosh.
right now.
Dan,
welcome,
the man, Dr. Dan.
Your being here couldn't possibly be more timely.
That is
because
awesome
Molly and I were in desperate need of a medical professional.
Yes.
Okay.
Of a health professional to walk us through some of the goods and evils, if any, of sugar
I'm trying
and
to give
aspartame.
up Diet Coke.
Sugar and aspartame.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
wow.
trying to give up Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm addicted to Diet Coke. It just quenches my thirst. So I'm trying, and I hate water.
Interesting that you would
so
say
I'm
that.
trying to find something that I can replace the
Thirst
Diet Coke
quenching.
with. That's healthy.
Yeah.
And all the little packet, like right now I'm drinking seltzer, and I love the bubbles. So I'm drinking seltzer water with a little packet of flavor, but that doesn't have aspartame. But I'm sure if it's red, it's got something.
Yes. Everything's got
So
something.
what am I supposed to drink? Should I just shut up and drink water?
You guys are getting right to the point. So this is.
I know.
So you're getting. So water is a big passion of mine.
Okay. And he also weighs all about 80 pounds, so that's probably because he drinks so much water, right?
Potentially.
I mean, it's probably a number of things, Molly, but I'm sure not drinking sodas plays into it.
I'm just a thin guy. I couldn't gain weight if I wanted to.
Okay.
And just to be fair, there's been times in my life when I've actually been unhealthy on that end where I could not keep weight on. So
Gotcha.
I'm healthy.
thing.
I'm healthy. I feel healthy now. I'm healthier
Okay.
actually at the ripe young age of 30
Oh.
than I've ever been.
Why don't you settle down, Dan?
Yeah,
You're getting
so-
old.
Pissing me off.
Let's slow it
He's
down.
skinny
I'll slow
and,
down. I'll
skinny
slow
and
down.
young.
You're an old man.
But we'll get into the drinks here. So
Yeah.
a couple things. So first of all, this is pretty important. I think is really hard for us to admit, pretty much as a culture, if not the world. Sugar is not a food. Sugar is actually a drug, and we pretend it's a food, which is kind of okay. It's like we could totally eat it. We're okay to eat it, but it's not nourishing you, and it's definitely doing things to your brain that is exactly what an addictive drug would do. So sugar's not nourishing you; it's only hurting you. Now, I eat sugar, I do, but I just want to get that out in the clear first.
Okay.
Go ahead, yeah.
No. I don't want to interrupt you. I've got lots of questions,
Yeah.
but I think you're about to
We'll dive
answer
through
them.
this. We'll
Yeah,
dive through
go,
this
go,
here.
go.
So when we get into something like aspartame, I would put sugar way above aspartame on the things you should put in your body list.
Things you should.
Yes,
Okay.
aspartame is very harmful to your body.
So wait, so aspartame is
Lower than sugar.
less harmful than sugar?
More harmful.
More harmful.
Lower on the totem pole.
Okay, I would say
don't
higher,
eat it.
but
don't eat it.
Okay.
Yeah, don't ever put it in your body.
Well, it's in everything,
yeah, I know.
Dr. Dan.
Right. So that's the issue is that life gets a little hard then because it's like,
Right.
what do I do?
Right.
So,
And by the way, what a con Pepsi and Coca-Cola, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So I don't understand.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
They're such
I was saying
assholes.
earlier, like, I don't see death certificates that say this man
No.
died because of Diet Coke or
No.
he got cancer because of Diet Coke. So how is Pepsi and Diet Coke getting away with this then? Like, I don't. It's got to be money. It's got to be
it's an excellent question.
that they're paying.
So there's a
Okay,
there's a
go
book
ahead.
called Sugar Blues. It's a small book.
Dan, I don't read.
You don't have to read it.
Okay.
I'm just telling you it exists.
do they have an audiobook?
Yeah.
They
called
probably
Sugar-
have an audiobook.
Could you read it to me as I'm?
I would read it to
Okay,
you. Yeah,
okay.
I've actually only read about half of it because it's kind of intense.
Okay. Oh gosh.
But what I can tell you is this guy goes into what is probably the most extreme history about sugar I've ever heard, and he tells you it's kind of a crooked history. It's like the entire sugar industry is the greatest mob story that's ever existed.
Really, I
So that's
do
all I'm
like
gonna
mob
say. That's all I'm
stories,
gonna
Dan.
say.
I do like
Not in a
mob
good way,
stories.
Molly. Not in a good way.
That being said, okay, so sugar is potentially it's not a food. It's
Drug.
a feel good thing. It's a drug.
Okay.
But aspartame is a toxic chemical, right? So that's even worse than a natural drug, right?
Right. Oh, is that like
well.
pot versus meth?
Yeah, we could go there.
What a great analogy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the new thing. Like plastic. Ugh. Everybody.
it
It's
grows.
nothing.
It grows on a tree,
It's
which
nothing.
is kind of
not if
neither
your
here nor
family's
there.
addicted to alcohol and drugs. It's not just no big deal.
Right.
you know?
Aspartame is the crystal meth of the
Yes.
sweetener world.
Yes. That's what he's saying.
I'm
That's what
comfortable
he's saying.
that, yeah.
Okay.
No, that's not. No, this is not like an official
Right.
documented health record
Yes.
statement. But I can get on board with that in
Okay.
terms of
Yeah. Dan,
So wait, whoa! How do we stop drinking?
So what do you want me to do? You want me to just give you like a straight up suggestion, or
Yeah, like
Okay, so here's a
So what
suggestion.
are
Here's
some
a suggestion.
alternatives that are
I
good?
would stick with if you
I hate water.
need it to be sweet.
Yes.
I would honestly I'd rather
I'm gonna
see
take back sweet. I need it to have flavor.
flavor. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Well,
I've bought
we'll start-
all the seltzer waters.
Yeah.
I haven't tried the hint, but I've done all the. I don't. Oh, give me some. This one
Oh
is.
gosh. You're talking about like the sugarless ones?
The seltzer
those-
water with a flavor in
Yeah.
it, like
Yeah,
the
Bubbly is a brand.
Bubbly, I've
Polar
done
Bear,
that.
I think
Yes,
Polar,
all
yeah,
of those.
Yeah.
I've
My
done
wife
all
loves
those.
those things. She drinks
Okay.
those a lot. I can't drink those. I'd rather just
but
drink
they
water.
don't have enough flavor in it for me.
No, me either.
Right.
So I understand that. So here's my go-to.
Okay.
You could go so far into any area of health. The best thing to do, honestly, I'd look for the thing in the store that says it's natural and just start there. You're gonna be better off that way. If you're gonna you could get natural soda. Virgil's is a soda brand that makes natural. Quote, I'm doing the quote fingers. Natural soda. It's does not have food coloring in it. It has organic regular sugar, which is better than the chemicals, right? And so that you can start there. That's honestly that's better.
And you know what the funny thing about all that's not funny, but the weirdest part about all of this is that my dad died of esophageal cancer, and my mother is convinced that because he drank Pepsi.
Did he
and
smoke?
No. He was an athletic director. He's very fit.
yeah.
So my mom is convinced that it was the coloring in Pepsi.
So color is the other one. Color is really dangerous. Really dangerous.
So like this, so
I mean-
it's got to be something.
Now I'm looking at a very
This
red
is-
drink, and it's I suspect
this
that
is
you'd see
Welch's
yeah
packets
You're gonna red
that
40
does not have
for sure.
but I made sure it didn't have aspartame or whatever.
Aspartame.
I made sure it didn't have that, Dan.
Neither absinthe.
I think the
nor
thing is,
aspartame.
I think that if you're going to go to the store and look for, because like my understanding is that the word natural is applied in very deceptive ways too.
I agree.
I think that what I do is I go to the store and I look at labels, and if there's anything in there that is difficult to pronounce or that I'm relatively confident wasn't around like 200 years ago, you know,
I'm just not knowledgeable in
Alex,
that.
we should be asking you. That's the number one go-to. So
Yeah.
but you got to find a standard that you're comfortable with, right? Because I read labels. I read every label. If it's not a vegetable on the shelf,
Well, maybe
I
I
read the
should
label.
start reading labels because I don't read any
But
labels.
it can get intense.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
don't have time.
That's what I was saying.
I don't have
Like,
time.
It is, but it's such a culture shock to your routine. It's such a complete it's so different that you have to go from never reading labels to reading them all the time.
Right.
That like that self-discipline, for lack of a better
I'm
word.
to be honest, it's not. I mean,
So the easy
It's
way
hard.
to do it is you pick one thing. You pick your drink. So you find one powder packet, right? That's kind of what it is, right? You're talking about these little flavor packet.
Anything, right.
Find one or two brands that are on, and you go to Heinen's has a great selection. You know, it's a great grocery store. So you got Mustard Seed and Whole Foods. You have good grocery stores around here. So you find one or two brands that you're reasonably confident have no chemicals or non-real stuff in it.
Right.
And just go and start there. That's a step. That's
because I
literally,
can add it to plain seltzer water, and I could find an all-natural powder packet that I can add to seltzer water.
Well, let me ask you this, Dan. If you had to take a guess at, so right now what Molly swears is that she couldn't just switch to water because it has no flavor, right?
Right.
How long do you think?
I mean, but I did follow up with, I'm just being a baby and I probably can.
Oh, I'm not judging you. I'm not evaluating.
I am being a baby.
It's a common plight, though.
It's
You're
not like I'm
alone
allergic to water. I can
But
do it.
I've got a more practical question for you, again, as a health professional. If Molly said, okay, for X period of days, X number of days, I am actually only going to drink water as my sole liquid, right?
The weight would, like, I would
the question is,
dropping weight as I was
here's
walking.
my question. How many days do you think it would take before Molly actually says, oh, I could do this. I don't actually need sweet liquids in my body.
Well, that's the old habit thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
I mean,
is it going to take a full month, do you think? Or is it like a couple days?
21 to 30 days is a lot of times kind of what people say in terms of habit creation.
Yeah.
Okay, so
the answer, just to wrap this up. So find one or two brands that you're reasonably confident you're going to find at a general grocery store that don't have chemicals in it.
That I read the label.
Yeah.
Okay.
No food coloring, no aspartame.
Can a company say they're all natural and still not be all natural?
Yes. As
Yeah.
Your best bet is to go 100% organic.
Myself.
I mean, you're going to be safe there.
100% organic.
You're going to be safe there.
Is that what you just gave me?
Yeah, that's organic stevia right there.
Is it 100% organic?
I believe so.
Yeah, it probably is.
I believe so. We are going to take a short break. Stay nearby, folks. Hey, folks. Alex Gertzberg here. I am CEO of the Gertzberg Law Firm and Cover My Six. And I hope you're enjoying the show so far. I wanted to take a quick second to tell you about something special we're doing at Cover My Six. If you own or run a business, I want you to go to covermysix.com to see if you qualify for a no-cost business vulnerability assessment. My business lawyers will meet with you in person, go over your customer contract, your employee handbook, and your other key legal documents, and help you spot any legal minefields that they see. We'll also give you some guidance on how to stop those minefields from blowing up your business. So go to covermysix.com to see if you qualify and to sign up. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the show.
I complimented you because you guys came here. When exactly did you come here to start your new practice here to Chagrin area?
So my wife and I moved into Chagrin in March.
Okay, in March, and he's working the JC booth in May. I'm telling you, you did it right. You got your face out there. You're working the community. You're putting a face with your business name. Just brilliant.
Yeah. Well, and from what our crack research department has uncovered about you, Dan, and my own perusal of your website, it looks like there's actually substance behind this cute face.
Yes.
Molly.
Cute, skinny.
You are a chiropractic doctor.
Yes.
You do all kinds of is alternative therapy the right word for cranial sacral therapy and body awareness and somato respiratory integration?
See, now don't do that because you can't pronounce it.
No, he did.
That
was
it.
it.
Is
So
that right?
so almost. So craniosacral.
Oh, sorry.
And just
okay.
for you listeners out there, that is my wife
you know
Christian.
What? He's Rob Sapp.
Is A cranial sacral therapist.
Like he looks like Rob.
It's because they have boyish good looks. Mom.
Oh my gosh!
That's
one of our other guests. It's a compliment.
I should know this person.
He's a Broadway star.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So yeah, but
but you and Rob are now in an exclusive club of people of only 90 people who have been in that chair for this podcast.
Yeah,
so you guys are like blood brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're honored to have you. Okay, so what's cranial whatever?
So your question was, is alternative the right way to describe this?
Yeah.
Stuff? Yes, and is my answer.
Okay.
To that. So yeah,
it's a lawyer's answer.
So alternative. So alternative to what? I guess is the question. Usually we're talking about. There's a broad classification called complementary and alternative medicine.
Okay.
CAM. That's technically how you describe anything other than regular medicine, but I kind of don't like that because so you mentioned when I got here, you're glad to have a health and medical professional. So I am specifically not a medical professional. I wouldn't even claim that. It'd be wrong for me to claim that. I've not received medical training. I've received chiropractic training.
I see.
Right. And so
you're a DO. No?
I'm a DC, doctor of chiropractic.
DC.
DOs are doctors of osteopathy. And they actually, these days, they actually do receive medical training.
You're thinking MD.
Okay. No, DO.
DO.
DO. Some chiropractors are DOs, right?
There are some who are both. You'd have to go through about 8 or more years of school to do both of those. Yeah, that'd be pretty intense. But there are some. Yeah.
Dan, walk us briefly through the journey that got you from, hey, I just want to dance and party at music festivals.
Wait,
to,
so do you know something about me that I don't?
We know the dance floor.
We know everything, Dan. We know how you met your wife.
Oh wow!
Yes.
We know. Oh,
by the way, what was the music festival in Georgia?
It was called Imagine. It's
all right.
On the record, if you're gonna look it up. It's not the style. That is not my style of music festival.
You're just going to get chicks?
No.
Trying hopefully to pick up chicks.
That was actually not the situation.
Alex goes to music festivals.
I love music festivals. I love music festivals. Absolutely.
He's a fish.
Do you like fish?
Oh wow! Oh my gosh, Alex, we should go hang out, man.
Did you see them when they were here?
No, I did not see fish when they were here. No, I did not. I've not followed fish specifically, but a lot of similar jam like one of my favorite jam bands of all time is Humphreys McGee. Are you?
I freaking love the Besties,
man.
Can I tell you a quick story, real quick?
Wait, are the things gonna party? You guys
we've
gonna
already
do a dance off?
We've already. Dude, I used to go drinking with Brendan Bayless before they were big. We used to do car bombs in a bar in Oxford, Ohio, and we were my buddies and I were the only ones in the bar because no one had ever heard of them. And I looked at him. He ordered car bombs, and I said, Brendan, you guys are going to be effing huge one day.
Oh my gosh, and they
swear
are.
to God, and they're huge.
For those of you who don't know, Humphreys McGee is a big deal.
If you called Brendan right now, would you? So this was.
He'd be like, "Who the hell are you?"
Chatting at a bar.
Yeah, this was like 20 years ago.
You didn't go to the bar together. You met him at the bar. Is that right?
They were the band at this bar called The Balcony in Oxford, Ohio, and my 6 friends and I were the only ones there.
I love.
And they killed it. Here, let's more on this later.
I feel drinks are going to happen.
Walk us through. Well, we've got such a compressed schedule today.
I know. You're a busy man, Alex.
In 60 seconds or less. No pressure. Walk us through the journey.
We're not ending your thing in 60 seconds.
Sure.
Walk us through that journey from that magical moment at the Imagine Festival to here we are, Doctor of Chiropractic, Tone of Life. Dr. Dan Continenza.
60 seconds.
What's that look like? Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
So I met my wife, Christian, in Atlanta, Georgia, while I was already in chiropractic school.
All right. Pretend that wind back the clock a little further.
Wind back the clock. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you
college to now.
College to now. Well, I feel like it's fair to go a little further back. I'll go quick here.
That's fair.
15 years old, soccer accident. Back was, totally locked up. Couldn't practice. Went to a chiropractor. Amazing results. Back on the field in 2 weeks. My mom had just gotten amazing results. My family was turned on to chiropractic. We were in. It was amazing. I thought for 10 years I was going to be a chiropractor. And then I got to college, and I hated exercise physiology so much that I stopped and became a plant biologist. Graduated as a plant biologist.
Is that a drug dealer? Like, is that?
It's not. These days, it's probably you could. Yes, these days you could probably swing that. At some universities, I was a botanist.
Okay.
I looked at plant cells under microscopes and like classified leaf structure. That's what we did. I love nature. I'm not really a plant guy. It just honestly it was it was the only thing that I could see doing that I would be able to finish in 4 years, and I had a blast doing it. Made great friends. It was awesome. So let's fast forward. So I moved to Seattle, washed dishes after college, right, with a college degree, gave nature guide tours for free to elementary schoolers, which my mom now gets paid to do at the Holden Arboretum, so I'm kind of jealous.
Oh,
She's not a plant biologist. So, and then after a little while out of college, I thought, what am I doing? I've always wanted to be a chiropractor. I should just go to school and quit wasting my time, essentially. Really, I was just doing nothing. It took me another year after I had that realization to actually go. So I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, from, at the time, Athens, Ohio. It was the last place I lived before I went to Atlanta. And specifically Marietta, Georgia, Life University in Marietta, Georgia. And I started chiropractic school. And within a few months, realized that I'm amazed that I even had the motivation to get there, because the things that I learned about my profession within 6 to 9 months of being there totally set me on fire. I was so excited to become a chiropractor in a way that I wasn't when I decided to go to school.
Yeah, no, they've got, I mean, a lot of chiropractors have, or I wouldn't say specific ones, but I recall that there was a time when being a chiropractor had a bad reputation associated with it.
It did.
Right?
Yeah,
so,
it did.
Which obviously you would dispute strongly.
I would, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's probably because when people are in that situation, they just want the drug to make you feel better. And a chiropractor wants to correct the issue and fix it, and doesn't just want to mask it with surgery or medication.
Sure. Yeah. There's a few reasons. That's definitely one of them. I mean, there's are there chiropractors who have earned us a bad reputation? Yeah, sure, of course. Do I provide a service that some people aren't interested in? Absolutely. I mean, so there's a lot of reasons it hasn't been popular. One of the reasons is that it was different.
Yeah,
it was so different in a time when medicine kind of, in the time when it was unpopular to be a chiropractor, medicine really had a strong grip on the healthcare industry.
Do you think it had anything to do with the fact that people, to Molly's point, were expecting a fix, and often you go to a chiropractor and you have to keep going back?
Yeah, that's definitely
right?
a portion of it. Yeah.
So people are like, I suspect that a lot of people were like, yeah, he made me feel great, for a week, and then I was back. I wish I had just gone to my doctor and got some drugs.
Yeah, I think, right? Well, there's definitely a, what do they call it? The silver bullet syndrome is what I'd call it. Yeah. Where even though it doesn't exist, and we know it doesn't exist, we still pretend that whatever we're receiving is potentially bullshit, because, well, why don't you just do the thing that fixes me? It's like, well, where did you find that? Where is that? Show me.
Right.
I want it.
Right.
It doesn't exist. Now, sometimes you can have a surgery, take a drug, receive a chiropractic adjustment, or anything else. You can go to you can fall down some stairs and accidentally hit your head in such a way where you magically correct something that was wrong. Well, it's not magic, but so occasionally you get one of those instantaneous shifts. But really, it's life, life's not like that.
Right.
Dan, you are not just a chiropractor. However, you do all of these other therapies, right?
So kind of, yes. So I function only as a chiropractor. I mean, that's my license. That's my sole profession is as a chiropractor. So the therapy that I offer, and we can talk about that word later, because actually I don't actually call it a therapy, and we'll talk about why. The service that I offer as a healthcare professional is pretty much exclusive to the chiropractic adjustment. Right? That's what you get when you come in. You get adjusted. Right. So the other things that you see on my website are, other than the Cranial Sacral Therapy, which is my wife's profession. She is a phenomenal, amazing practitioner of a different sort. Which
what is that?
We'll get deep into that. I was shore up here this question Alex said. So the other things that we offer are they extend a variety of self-education, self-healing, self-care is a common word for it. And really...
is that
go ahead.
Talking about things?
Yeah, so there's a mix. So there's the intellectual part where I help people kind of deconstruct their limiting beliefs about how their body's able to heal, right? Because when we have these ideas about how our body's restricted from getting better, it's like, well, there's no way I can ever recover from this disc injury. It's like, well, yes, you can. I guarantee that, I shouldn't say that. I cannot guarantee.
Right.
But lots of people have healed from lots of things that we consider to be unhealable.
I think that what you can guarantee is, to the extent that the medical condition is caused sort of psychosomatically or by limiting beliefs, you can help reverse that by getting rid of those limiting beliefs and replacing them with the opposite.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. So that's one of the things I do outside of the chiropractic adjustment, because the adjustment is also designed to help the body on a subconscious level as well to start to shift those limitations. So, so that's the adjustment as well. And then we do a series of workshops where I teach. So you mentioned somato respiratory integration. That's it's a mouthful. Really, think of it as breath body connection. Yeah, that's the easier way to think of breath body awareness.
Meditation.
So that's a specific type of activity that was designed by the same guy that I studied under as a chiropractor to do the style of chiropractic that I do. So it's a specific thing. It's similar to a lot of it's a breath meditation, but also a breath tension release, breath empowerment. It's a lot of things in one.
I wish will you break up with your wife so that Alex can marry you?
You and I are so similar. I mean, we have such similar interests. I wish that we had way more time.
I can come back.
You are gonna. I think we're gonna have to have him back. So craniosacral therapy. Molly, can I impress you with my knowledge of Latin?
Yes.
What do you think it is?
Cranial is your brain, so it's got to have to do with your brainstem therapy.
I mean, sacral, isn't that spine and lower spine?
Oh.
Yeah, so
also religious, or is that
sacrament?
Sacrilegious or sacrament. I think it's a different.
Ooh, but is it totally different?
We should look it up. Yeah. We should look it up. That could have a similar root. So sacral is usually how it's pronounced in this case. Yeah. The sacrum is the bottom section of your spine. So it's the big triangular bone that's the base of your spine.
Yeah.
It's between your hips. And the cranium, so you actually, Molly, you hit on something really great here. So cranium refers to the bones. So the bones around the brain, right?
Okay.
So that's the cranium.
Yes.
Specifically, though, and people think of chiropractors as focusing on the bones of the spine as well, but really, in my wife's line of work, this Cranial Sacral Therapy, and my line of work, we're really focusing on the brain and the nervous system and how they're functioning in a way to help us really. It's like our body knows how to be healthy. It's the software is in there. Our job is to reboot the software and to clear the clutter out of the way, right? So it is actually about the brain. It's actually about the brain and the nervous system.
I mean, in 30 seconds, how do you reboot the software?
That's really tough because it's 4 years
of
schooling.
For you.
It got me to this point.
Terrible.
The short answer is, well, that's the technique part of it. Mm-hmm. To explain that a little bit, it's to be vague but descriptive, we use a series of light touch or sometimes more firm touch to cue the body and the brain to start to release tension and reestablish healthy neurological patterns. What does that mean? I mean, that's
sounds like a description for a porn movie.
Oh my god!
Light touch.
How? What is that?
Light touch. Sometimes hard touch.
Oh yeah, sure.
To
Okay,
release. Yeah. If you
really gutter. Jeez, oh man.
It only took me 40 minutes to get there.
Pretty much, you could have said anything in the word touch or light touch, and then Molly was off to the races.
Oh my gosh. Well, if you have a positive connotation, that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, basically, what you're saying is our body, our brain, the software is correct. It's just with everyday movement, we are messing up our bones and our body that needs to then get back into shape. To work the software again,
in a very large way, yes.
Right, and obviously you can't tell us because then we would start our own chiropractic.
Well, no, I could tell you, and we could talk. I mean, this is,
right. This is in depth.
Yeah. These are the lectures that I'm going to give my future students.
Right, this isn't a 3-minute thing.
Well, let's do this, Dan.
Alex,
gun to your head. If you can only give people one single piece of health advice. What is it?
Honestly, it
Drink
would
water.
be. Well, shoot. See, now, Molly, you kind of ruined. Yeah.
Damn it, Molly.
Technically, I guess I'd have to be drink water because if you didn't drink water, you're gonna die. But then it's like then you got to breathe. I guess breathe is the first one. But
trust me, I'm alive, and I don't drink water.
Assuming people are gonna breathe and take in fluids into their body and eat food, the next piece of health advice I'd give would be to practice being present. Honestly, practice being present. And there's 1,000 reasons why.
He's your spirit animal.
We have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, Alex wears a bracelet. Wow.
Oh, that's right. No, I
hear
it.
It says
today's says ZFG for zero given.
Nice.
Not the one you wear.
I know. Usually I wear one that says mindful.
Yes.
But today I felt like ZFG was the one.
Was it because
that's honestly
similar.
not too dissimilar.
was
Yeah,
it
it's
because
really-
I was coming in?
No,
we
no,
broke
no.
up last week.
We did.
We
got
made
back
up,
together.
but
Oh,
we
good,
broke
okay,
up. Yeah.
okay.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
I think that when you drop into that state of awareness, you become a lot more aware of what you're putting into your body. Is that what you were?
Yeah.
What you were
Well,
thinking?
so yeah, that's
and
so
what you're
I
doing
think
with
there's
your body.
Kind of three. I guess if I had to break it into three parts, it'd be these three parts.
Yeah.
When you're present, yes, you know more precisely and sooner the things you're doing that are harming you. Right? You're aware. If you're aware
Right.
of your body and you know what you're doing that's wrong, so you know how to change it to do what's right. If you're present, and I mean this in a very literal way, presence, like as in awareness, is I think one of the most important components to your body actually being able to heal. And it happens on a subconscious level in a huge way. Like your brain's awareness of your body is literally what we're trying to reestablish. That because the software is already there. We're trying to reboot it essentially, right? So if you practice presence, you're contributing to that same process. And then to get a little bit farther out there, when you're practicing presence, your intuition starts to guide you essentially. Your intuition starts to guide you in terms of, and this is where it gets really kind of, the weeds get thick here. It's like, what are you trying to do when you're trying to create health? Are you trying to numb out the things you don't like? Or are you trying to leverage what you're experiencing in life to create new levels of health, right? And that's a big one. So I don't know how much we're going to be able to unpack on that in a short time. But we can really get into, we can get into a little bit of that. Let me say it again
What's
really
your
quick.
faith, out of curiosity?
You want me to say that?
Yeah.
I am a self-discovered monotheist. of sorts.
Interesting.
So you believe there is a God?
Absolutely, yeah.
Why are you having trouble with that?
No, because just in I'm not having trouble at all. I just knew that he was probably very spiritual.
I was convinced he was going to say either Buddhist or atheist.
Oh, no.
I've definitely been both of those in the past. You start off.
So you're discovering.
atheist. I guess as a child, it's like, oh, I'm atheist because this is dumb. I don't like.
Not
I don't like going to church.
Not when you're born Catholic.
Well, I was born.
Okay.
Catholic. So,
Okay.
but as a young adult, I was like, church. I don't like church, so I must be an atheist. And it's like, then you think about it, and science too. I read a quote the other day. It said something like, the first sip you take out of the glass of science, you become an atheist. And when you get to the bottom of the glass, you realize God. And I think that's a really cool idea. And the idea is like, when you start to realize how amazing this creation is that we're part of, it's like
Have you gotten to the bottom
Why are
of
you
your glass yet, Alex?
No, I'm still drinking it.
Are you an atheist, Alex?
I am an atheist.
Oh,
Yeah.
so but I think
I'm a devout
I think we
atheist.
could be. I think we actually
But-
have really interesting conversations though.
For sure. And I think we're
And
going
then
to
throw
when you
my
come back.
Catholicism in there. And
So are you a practicing Catholic?
Uh-huh.
as well? Okay,
Yeah.
so this is a really great group. This is
Yeah,
really cool. I think
yeah.
we'd have an amazing. So we could talk about.
You know
this
what?
and
It's
have
how
a-
the world. It's how this country. Like this should be how this country
Well,
should be.
here's what I tell my kids, right? I say that when you encounter people in life who believe in their bones in something that they cannot see, people who have faith and fidelity to a God or many gods or a belief system, you got to respect that. You have to respect that because they are probably willing to go all the way for that belief, right? And they're going to raise their kids according to that belief. They're going to surround themselves with books and learning about that belief. You have to respect people's decisions about faith, in the same way that you want them to respect your decision, whether it's not to believe in God or to believe in a God and which God or many gods, right? So I give deference to anybody in their choice of religion, so long as they don't turn it into a reason to be an asshole, or kill people or hurt people.
Right.
which happens, which is
Yeah.
A lot.
sad, really very
Yeah.
sad.
Right. I just want to be in heaven with you, so I'm going to keep working on you.
I want to be in heaven
wanna
with you
s-
too,
I wanna
Molly.
spend the rest of my life with you, even
But you know
after
what,
life.
Molly? Can I tell you something? I think I'm in heaven with you right now. What do you think about
No,
that?
I believe last week you said you were in hell with me.
Well, that's true.
Wow. So that's yeah.
yeah.
But we came
depending
around.
depending on your belief structure, that's. Yeah,
We
it could
should
be-
have had a dance off. That's what we
So
should
what
have done to save our relationship.
How do you think that would have ended?
I would
I
have
would have
won.
won.
wait. All right. What's the song?
Anything by Michael Jackson or James Brown.
Okay.
What's
or
up?
George,
Want to go?
George Michael. Let's do it.
I would do George Michael.
Okay, so there's an agreement here. That's good.
Okay. Yeah.
What would you?
Yeah.
What
What was-
Gosh.
what would the dance-off song of choice be for Dan and Christian?
Well, they had it already.
I'm
Oh,
saying.
that was, I honestly, I don't know.
I don't think we're gonna know it though.
I honestly don't know the song we were dancing to when we met.
Okay.
Is
like,
Christian?
yeah. Was it one of those moments where like just everything, you don't hear anything, you don't see anybody else?
Yeah, yes, it was it was one of those magical moments. But to be completely transparent, it's an artist I didn't even listen to. We don't even know who. Like I don't know any of his songs.
Oh my god!
I swear, I am almost positive that it's a DJ. We listen to a lot of electronic bass music. We call it bass music or dance music. Yeah. You know, I'm almost positive the song or one near when he played that song had the word twerk in it. You know, which is not, and neither of us even know how to do that. I mean, so
right.
It's not so it's not like we danced to our favorite song when we met. It was
right.
just like,
right.
But you can't.
It didn't
you can't
matter.
Stop fate.
You know,
No.
this is where we are going to pick up this conversation right here. We're going to take it back to northern Atlanta or northern Georgia for the Imagine Festival.
And northern
Right.
Atlanta actually is north side of Atlanta.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Marietta,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
North side of Atlanta.
We're going to take
Yeah.
it back there when we pick this up. Dan, I apologize that we have to keep it so short today.
No worries.
We've barely
honored.
scratched the surface.
No, haven't.
Right. So that's on me. I'm sorry. I should have brought you guys in much sooner.
No need to apologize. This is fine.
Yeah. But I do believe that this will be a good mini episode to push out. And then, folks, listen here. If you've listened this far, you know you want to listen to Part B.
Who wouldn't?
You know you do.
Who wouldn't?
I mean, here, let's give them a little teaser. Here's some things that you'll learn about Dan in Part B. You will learn an embarrassing thing about Dan that no one else on the planet knows, or at least very few people know. You will learn about the finer points of Somato respiratory integration. You will learn about the way that Dan and Christian help people navigate through psychological or emotional stresses. We will learn about Dan's ukulele skills. Do you like the way I pronounced it correctly, by the way?
I don't even say it that way.
Yeah.
Dude,
I was
very
going to say
good.
you said it wrong, but
No. That is the actual correct way. If you ask
Okay.
any Hawaiian or Samoan
okay.
or Fiji
Good to
person, I don't know.
know.
Who invented it? Isn't it?
I associate it with Hawaii. I don't
Yeah.
know who invented
I think
it.
they call it uk, the ukulele.
Okay.
And you will learn about Dan and Christian's dance skills. We might, we might even induce Dan to exemplify some of his
Dan,
dance
is there any
skills.
video of anything like
Well,
any dance
You know,
offs
when
that we
Alex
can...
said that I was going to be revealing this secret thing about myself, I can't say, Molly, because that might have something to do with the secret.
Oh, what a great teaser that is.
The secret
We
that
need
will
to
be
stop
revealed.
now. We need to
Folks,
stop now.
Thank you for listening.
Yes.
Make sure, Dan, you especially, this will be an opportunity for Dan to really show him off. Make sure, folks, whatever you're doing on any Tuesday or Thursday night, and hell, we'll even throw in a Sunday night, Molly, right?
Yeah.
Go to cvcc.org, find out which amazing band Molly has brought to either the Chagrin Falls Triangle or one of the other surrounding communities on a Tuesday. Thursday, every night, it's the Triangle, and every Sunday night, it's Pinecrest. All from 7 to 9, Molly?
Yes.
Right?
Well, yes. Sundays are 3 to 5.
Oh, in Pinecrest.
Yeah, but you'll visit cvcc.org. And so you're inviting Dan to come bust the move.
For sure.
On
I'll
the
be
dance
extremely
floor.
disappointed
Yes.
if he doesn't.
He needs to come to a special request. That's that. They're
remember them. They're
they
awesome.
play all the good. They're all awesome,
Yeah.
but that would be a good.
Yeah.
Every Thursday night, Dan.
Yeah.
At the Triangle.
Yeah, bring Christian.
Yeah, well, so we're about to close down. I know we're
Yeah.
about to close down, but I just gotta say something real quick. So yes, I will come and I will dance, and I was gonna volunteer my wife to say that she will also be there dancing. But I have to say something, and this
Please.
is another. I'm about to drop a big nugget here. My wife and I are having our first baby.
Stop it!
Nice
Yeah,
job.
that's true.
Nice job.
We
You heard it
are
here
due in
first,
January,
folks.
and so I can't promise that she will be dancing because she's feeling up and down.
Yes.
She can't do any break dancing, but she could do the twist.
So
She
when
also,
is
she
she
also
due?
is a belly dancer. Yeah.
Ooh, this is going to be great.
What does she do?
What is she? When is she?
When is she
what is she? I'm like, haven't we been talking about
Yeah.
January.
that? She's
In
due in January.
Okay,
Yes.
so you guys, this is new. This is fresh.
Just into her second trimester. Yep.
Excellent. Do you know what you're having yet?
No, we are torn because a lot of people are telling us that it was their favorite surprise they've ever saved for themselves, and I'm, it's like it's a surprise no matter when you find out.
Right.
But-
Exactly.
So I think we're just gonna
That's
have
how I
to
feel
wait
about
and
it.
see
Okay.
where the tides pull
Oh,
us.
Dan, that's so exciting.
This is going to be awesome.
Mazel. Say
All right.
Mazel.
Mazel. Man,
You stole the
all right,
thunder.
Mazel tov. You know
Mazel
how I
tov.
feel about being guilt tripped into speaking Hebrew, Molly. Folks,
You know how I love speaking Hebrew.
and giving guilt trips. Folks, listen. Thanks for tuning in. Whatever platform or device or website or whatever you're listening on, find the way to review us and rate us and do that, but only if it's really good, Dan.
And
You know what I mean?
subscribe.
If you don't like it, just call Molly on the cell phone number she gave you earlier and tell her how much you hate this podcast.
Yep.
But I'm thinking if they've listened this far, then it's probably
probably like
like
it.
Dan's wife and mom.
And they're probably just going to be
And-
like, oh my gosh, I want more of Dan.
They're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to rate this podcast highly.
Yeah. And you'll also be informed when Dan's next episode comes. So you want to
Indeed.
subscribe.
I'm looking forward to finding out about that because
Yeah.
it's gonna be exciting. I've had a good
Yeah.
time so far.
All right.
Hope
Thanks,
All right.
folks.
Thanks,
Thanks,
folks.
Dan.
See ya.